Joining us now from Maryland, Senator Ben Cardin. Welcome back to Fox News Sunday, sir. Welcome.
Sandra, it's good to be with you. Thank you.
Okay, so Senator, let's start with prospects for reform. So can Democrats deliver 10 Republican senators on any gun reform legislation? Your take.
Well, the jury's out on that. We've tried on so many different issues and have not been successful even to start debate, whether we deal with gun safety issues or we deal with immigration or we deal even with small business. We've not been able to get 10 senators to allow us to even start debate. So we're going to have to wait to see. I think the urgency is there. I was listening to Senator Cornyn. I really do think that there is a real urgency that we can show that we can act. I'm confident if we can get a bill on the floor on the gun issues and can pass it, it will be the right signal to the American people. It probably won't go as far as I would like to see us go, but it will at least show that Congress can act.
Even some Republicans who have signaled openness to reforms also point out how complicated this really is. Here's Senator Lindsey Graham on that.
This man had no criminal record. He shot his grandmother in the face. He lawfully purchased a gun. I don't know how. I can't tell people that I can't think of a law that would have stopped this particular shooting. Are there other things we can do? Yeah, let's see if we can.
Your response to that, Senator?
Well, I think we could do some things that will save lives. I think the red flags, background checks, these issues will save some lives. I'd like to go further than that. Investing in mental health is good also. But military-style weapons, I think getting them off the street would be very helpful in saving lives. Will it save all lives? Well, no, but America's an outlier in gun violence. We're in a class by ourselves. We have to ask why. And one of the reasons is the fact that it's so easy to get these military-style weapons, particularly an 18-year-old being able to buy that type of weapon. I think it raises questions about America and our laws compared to the rest of the world.
Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, sir, has blessed some gun reform negotiations, but in the past he's been open to conversations, yet ultimately doesn't support reform bills. Listen.
I don't want to overstate my optimism, though. I mean, I've been Charlie Brown enough times to know that up until now the football has been pulled out from under me every single time. Maybe this time is different.
So when you look at the chances here, is McConnell just going to pull the football out from underneath Democrats again?
Well, we hope that these bipartisan negotiations will lead to a critical mass of Republicans that will be able to deliver at least 10 votes so that we can have a debate on the floor of the United States Senate. You know, the United States Senate is known as the great deliberative body, but if we can't even get a bill on the floor to debate, where are we? I mean, this is an issue that the American public expects us to act. Enough's enough. Congress needs to act. It needs to take action that can help avoid these types of tragedies. Elementary school children being gunned down, we've got to do something. And clearly, the gun safety issues are one, mental health's another. There's a lot of areas that we can make progress, and we need to debate that and come together as a body in order to keep our children safer.
This is also happening in the middle of the Texas gubernatorial race. Take a look at this moment when Democratic candidate Beto O'Rourke confronted Texas Governor Greg Abbott.
Excuse me.
Sit down.
You're out of line and an embarrassment.
Hey, sit down and don't play this stuff.
The next shooting is right now, and you are doing nothing.
No, you need to get his out of here. This isn't the place to talk this over.
This is totally predictable when you...
Sir, you're out of line.
Senator Cardin, clearly Democrats are frustrated. The country is frustrated. But does that sort of confrontation help matters?
At this moment, I'm hopeful that Democrats and Republicans will come together and recognize the safety of our children, the safety of our community needs to come first. So that's why we hope that this bipartisan group will be able to come together with some legislative action that will give the public the confidence that we are trying to deal with this issue.
But
We've got to listen to each other. We've got to come together as a nation.
Were you okay with that confrontation, though?
I didn't see the video in the air. I can't see it because of where I am right now. I'm for us being honest with each other and listening to each other and making it clear that our frustration is there. America's an outlier. We need to recognize that. We need to make our community safer. And we got to make our schools safe. That's an area where parents send their children expected to be a place of safety. So I know there's a lot of frustration, a lot of anger, a lot of fear that's out there. Let's come together and do something about it.
Okay, so the president will be in Texas today, heading there right now, and is pressing for action. But here's White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre. Listen.
We leave the mechanics to Senator Schumer. We want to see action. That is what we're calling for. But again, we leave it to the leadership, the Democratic leadership, to figure out how they're going to move this forward.
Is that enough for you, or should the White House be doing more on its own to get something done here?
I think at this moment we need to have at least 10 Republican senators that will allow us to move forward on the Senate debate. Senator Schumer is our point person on that. He's the one that's delegated to get that type of support, working with Senator McConnell. Obviously, the president's going to be engaged. He's been very engaged. President Biden's been very much engaged in the Senate deliberations. I'm sure he will continue to do that.
Congress remains, meanwhile, deadlocked on police reform, sir, and has been for years. But this week, the president used his powers to sign an executive order focused on federal law enforcement, which includes the creation of a database to help track police officer misconduct. Some police groups celebrated the order as a blueprint for further congressional action, while others are dismissing it as political theater and faulted it for opaqueness. It all comes at a time of spiking crime coast to coast in this country, and as Republicans hammer your party for being soft on crime and not doing enough to support our police. So, Senator, is this going to bring real change, or was this just a symbolic photo op?
No, I think what the president did is very important to get the data so we know exactly what we're talking about, sharing that information, providing resources to train police officers on the sensitivities of communities. I think all that are important best practices, establishing best practices on the use of force. All that are important advancements. Would I prefer the United States Senate to take this issue up and pass sensible reform? Absolutely. But once again, we could not get 60 votes. We couldn't get the Republicans to join us on a Senate floor discussion of this. But I think what the president did is the exact message, and I'm glad to see it's receiving a warm response from our law enforcement
I want to
community.
finish off with an issue every American cares about in this moment, and that is inflation. Millions are hitting the road for the holiday weekend, sir, and they're paying record high gas prices. Truckers are feeling the pain. Grocery bills are sky high. What is the plan, sir, to bring these prices down?
Well, Sandra, I agree. I mean, we have the American families are confronting price increases. They're having a hard time dealing with their family budgets. Energy costs are way too high. The president's taken some steps to ease that by the release of our reserves. We recognize the international circumstances of war in Ukraine, and that energy prices are not determined here in the United States. But we need to do more about it. Our game plan is to deal with the cost centers that are affecting American families. We're dealing with the cost of health care and prescription drugs. We're hoping to have action in those areas to deal with the cost of child care. The president has a plan on that. We hope we'll have cooperation from the Republicans and we can get some issues that really affect the average American family's budget.
Well, sky-high gas prices remain, and it is inflicting a lot of pain on American families. So this is clearly going to shape up as one of the biggest issues come November elections. So thank you very much for joining us. Senator Cardin, always good to talk to you. Thank you.
Good. Have a nice holiday. Good to be with you.
You as well.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.